Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another installment of Billboard Comics. This is another one of our Guiding Lines features. This is going to be dealing with the books that are coming out on April 30th, 2025, or at least as they have it as of this taping on the League of Comic Geeks website. There's a lot of stuff coming on here. So let's get started by talking about the big book of the week. Big book of the week this week. We had a lot of options available. It's like I said, some weeks it's obvious, some weeks it's not. Some weeks you have to stretch, sometimes you don't. This is another kind of like had a stretch week, but there's a lot of options to fit that stretch. However, I decided to go a little bit off away from conventional wisdom and go with the Slasher's Apprentice. It's a new series from Mad Cave. It's going to be costing $4.99. It'll be for 32 pages, and it'll be a 5-issue miniseries. This is going to give me a little time to actually talk about Mad Cave, which I think is one of the better up-and-coming, new, like young kind of comic book publishers in publication today. I've kind of fallen kind of in love with it. They have a lot of great books. They're still getting more renowned. They are getting licensed by, they have licenses of like say Dick Tracy and Gotchaman, and they have Flash Gordon. So they're not exactly like the tiniest publisher ever. They are kind of like ensconced in the middle of the back of previews, but nonetheless they have a lot of good stuff, and the original stuff they usually take chances on. I believe that a lot of like murder mysteries and horror stuff, and the Kosher Mafia, I believe, was one of the things like this. They have a lot of series that they take chances on that other publishers wouldn't. And they also have like a pretty good high level of creators working for them. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that the Murder Kingdom had Fred Van Lente as a writer, and he's one of the better writers in comic books today. So it is a really good publishing company. I want to give them a little props by putting them up forward for this book. This book has a really pretty interesting premise, and this is like another thing they have. They have a lot of books with like really great premises. The premise for this book is that a serial killer blogger. And actually, if you've been on any kind of blogosphere, there's tons of blogs and podcasts about serial killers and what they do and tracking them wherever. This follows this story of this one follows one of those type of podcast bloggers who somehow gets entangled with an actual serial killer, who takes the blogger on as an apprentice and has them help them go town to town and killing people and build up his body count. This, I think, is the fascinating kind of stuff. I like to see how it plays out, especially the morality of it, and how it affects all the people involved. Is the podcaster going to be gung ho from the get go? Are they going to realize they got in way over their heads? A lot of interesting ways the story could go to. So that's why I'm looking forward to reading this one, and I think you should too, which is why I'm focusing it here. It is going to be written by Justin Richards. Art will be by Val Halvorsen, and they will also be doing the cover for it. Colors will be by Rebecca Nalty, and letters by Buddy Brandoin. Looks like. There will be one open order variant, a cover B by Trevor Henderson, and 2 retail variants. They are both going to be done by the Tennessee Comic Collector. Both will be done by Anthony Ojeda, and one will be a regular cover and one will be a black and white cover for that. Now let's go into the voluminous, and when I say voluminous, I mean voluminous number 1s that are coming out this week. These are first issues of new series. First off, we're going to start with DC. I am covering they have a couple annuals coming out. I'm covering them in this section just to have the section, because where else am I going to put them? They are number 1s, so that's why I put them in here. First up is Detective Comics 2025, number 1. It is going to cost you $5.99. for 40 pages, and like I said, it's an annual. Um, it has a number of writers and artists attached to it. I think there's going to be a number of stories in the actual annual. So writers include Al Ewing, Tom Taylor, Joshua Hale Yalkov, with art by John McCrae, Stefano Raffaele, and Fico Ossio, and Mike Norton. The cover will be done by Mikhail Janin, and there will be one variant, a cover B by John McCrae. The other annual is slightly more important because it actually continues the storyline from the main series, and that would be Batman Superman World's Finest 2025 annual number 1, it looks like. It'll be on sale for $3.99 with 48 pages, and again, it's an annual. This is going to be continuing, completing the We Are Yesterday storyline from the actual body of the actual comic book. DC used to do this back in the 80s. The Judas Contract, one of the most famous storylines from the New Teen Titans series, finished up its run in an annual. And also the first appearance, the storyline that Infinity Inc. first appeared in All-Star Squadron, finished up its storyline in an annual. So this is not unheard of, but it's it's more likely a throwback to that era. It looks like there'll be 2 stories in the annual. The first one will be the last installment of the We Are Yesterday storyline. It will be written by Mark Waid and Christopher Cantrell. We have art by Clayton Henry and Dan McGade, and the cover will be by Dan Mora. Lettering for the book will be by John Callis, and the colors will be by Niraj Menon. The second story will be one featuring Jon Stewart, the Green Lantern Jon Stewart, not the host of Daily Show, although I'd love to see a comic book with him. It'll be written by Morgan Hampton, and art again by Clayton Henry. The annual will have 2 open order variants, a cover B by Clayton Henry, and a cover C by Salvador LaRocca. We'll have 1 incentive cover. That incentive cover will be cover D, 1 in 25, by Laura Braga. Another number 1 for DC will be The Power Company. Reloaded? Okay, The Power Company Recharged. Sorry about that. Eventually I will be able to read my own handwriting. I should work on that. New glasses will probably help. I apologize to you and all your family and loved ones. This is a one-shot that's going to be for $5.99 with 48 pages. The Power Company is one of the better concepts from DC. I'd be back in the 90s or early aughts. It was written by Kurt Busiek and had art by Tom Grummett mostly, for the most part. It took a whole bunch of lower name, like Z-level characters. Yeah, a lot of teams do the C or B level characters, but this one had a character in it by Bork, who I think only made 1 appearance in a Brave and the Bold as a villain who faced off against Batman and the Flash. That's how deep dive the characters went on this one. I thought it was a really great book about like a corporate a superhero team, and I thought it was really interesting. And if you did too, you might want to not check out this one because this goes in a completely different direction. The only character that I believe is carried over from that original series is the founder of the series, Joshua Power. However, you might want to check it out for another reason. This is an issue that features mostly African American characters with African American creative crew. The writing is done by Brian Hall, art by Carrie Randolph and Athea Martinez, and the cover will be by Edwin Gallman. So this is a nice stab at representation by DC Comics. So it's like a full-size series or a mini-series, but take what you get, I guess. There will be 2 open order variant covers. Cover B by Ryan Benjamin and cover C by Sanford Green. There will also be 1 incentive, which will be cover D by Paris Alain. I believe that's how you say their name. Next, moving on to Marvel, the series one-shots featuring Godzilla against a whole bevy of Marvel characters continues with the one-sided matchup of Godzilla versus Spider-Man. Um, the comments on this that are saying, like, how could he possibly survive? Probably by just bouncing around and annoying the heck out of him until Godzilla gets tired of it. And that's how I think. But Dazzler is also guest starring, according to the League of Comic Book uh, League of Comic Books, or whatever it's, the name of it's called. League of Comic Geeks. Sorry about that. I get all my information from them. I should give them the proper respect by getting their name right. But Dazzler's also in there, so I'm sure that she will be able to turn the tide. Again, this is part of a series of one shots. It will be written. It's $4.99 for 32 pages. It will be written by Joe Kelly, who I believe is the writer on the actual main Spider-Man comic book now. Art by Nick Bradshaw. Nick Bradshaw is a good artist. If you like Art Adams, you'll probably love Nick Bradshaw because there's a lot of similarities between the two. The cover will be by Nick Bradshaw on art and Rochelle Rosenberg doing the colors on it. There will be 7 open order covers on this. One by Chris Campana, another one by Jerry Ordway doing a King of the Monsters homage. Ali Garbett versus, which the cover looks like kind of like a fight poster. Nick Bradshaw will be doing a monster homage variant, which is probably it looks like it's different than his regular cover. Nick Bradshaw is also doing a Venomized Godzilla variant, which should be fun for anybody who wanted to see Venom taking over Godzilla. And there are people out there who want that. A variant cover by Nicoletta Baldari. And the final open order cover is by Patrick Gleason. You can probably find these in your local comic store if your owner of the store actually did a lot of ordering for those. There will be 2 incentives, 1 in 25 by Greg Land and a 1 in 100 by Chris Campana. And there will be 2 retailer variants. There are both done for Rebel-based comics, both done by Lucio Parilla, and it'd be one with the trade dress and one virgin. The next one up from Marvel is Wolverine and Kitty Pryde, #1. This, I believe, is going to tie into the series from the 80s, which was named Kitty Pryde and Wolverine. It involves Kitty Pryde going to Japan and getting embroiled in a whole bunch of ninja shenanigans over there. I remember that one being very well written by Chris Claremont and with lower than average artwork by Al Milgrom. I hate to pile on him. He was a completely wrong artist for that story. But he probably, somebody owed him money or he had pictures of somebody, so he got the job. Good news is that Chris Claremont is coming back and Al Milgrom is not. Chris Claremont will be doing the writing chores on this, and on art he will be joined by Damian Consiero. And the cover will be by the legendary Alan Davis. There will be 4 open order variants for this one. One by A.D. Grandoff, one by Bengus. It's another one of his Marvel vs. Capcom adaptations, where the characters look like they're video game characters. A variant by Ricky Yugawa, and a Todd Knock Iconic cover. There will be 2 incentive covers to go along with them. One will be a 1 in 25 by Marcus Toe, and a 1 in 100 by, it will be a virgin version of the Ari Granoff version from above. Next on, we're going on to the #1s from Image. It will be Lost Fantasy #1. $4.99 for 48 pages, and it's going to be appears to be an ongoing series. It'll be written by Kurt Pyers, and have art by Luca Casalanguida, and he's also going to be doing the cover for this. There will be 1 open order variant cover B by Alex Diallo, and 4 incentive covers. Cover C, a 1 in 15 by Luca Casalangria, black and white version, a black and white version of his main cover. A 1 in 25 version by Derek Robinson, a 1 in 50 done by Jay Lee, and a 1 in 75 of that Jay Lee cover, but in a Virgin with no trade dress. The next number 1 from G.I. Joe is one I think might be the last installment, or close to the next to last installment, of the Silent Mission storyline of a series of one-shots that they had this month. It's going to be G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, Duke, number 1. It'll cost you $3.99 for 32 pages, and it is going to be, as I said, a one-shot. Be written and drawn by Wes Craig, and with a cover by Jason Wordy. We'll have 1 open order variant. A cover B by Jorge Fornes, as he's done for every issue of this book. 2 incentive covers. 1 a cover C by Wes Craig in black and white. Cover D by Jorge Fornes, letter connecting foil variant, where they take the these are from cover B and put overlay of the letter from G.I. Joe, probably this time would be knee, over it, so the character's just poking out from behind that. There will be 1 retail variant for this too. It's going to be a Comic Spot Peter Smith connecting variant. I believe they did connecting variants for the whole run, if I'm not mistaken. They did one last week, I remember that, so who knows, maybe this is going to complete that set. Next up, we have new issues from Dark Horse. Dark Horse, and the 2 new issues are from the Star Wars universe. Yeah, it's weird because you think that Disney, who owns Star Wars, it'd probably be more beneficial if they actually had like a comic company of their own that they could print every single Star Wars comic book that they'd ever want for their properties and reap the money that way. But no, they spread out all over the place. I joke because there is a whole lot of Marvel published Star Wars content, but there's also going to be Star Wars content here in IDW and a bunch of other places, which kind of seems like them. Like, I guess they don't want to saturate the market from their own publishing within their own doors of their publishing company, or I don't know why, but it seems to me like if I had a financial stake in it, it'd probably cost less money to do it in-house than ship it out to somebody else. But I'm a different breed of cat, I guess. The first one of the Star Wars new issues is Star Wars Hyperspace Stories. It's Code Breakers, number 1. It'll be $4.99 for 32 pages, and it's going to be a first of a 4-issue miniseries. Be written by Ethan Sachs, with art by Jose Marza Jr. and Mark Yarza. Colors be by Niccolo Raihi. Letters are going to be by Comic Craft, and the cover will be by Diego Galindo. There'll be 2 other covers for this, a cover B by Simon Parr, and a cover C by Sean Murphy. The other Star Wars series starting this week from Dark Horse is Star Wars, The High Republic Ventures, The Battle of Etuin. Well, if you're Star Wars fans, you know which one it is. I'm sorry, I couldn't read the thing. This is a one-shot. It's going to be cost you $5.99 for 32 pages. It'll be written by Alyssa Wong, with art by Lisa Ramboli, colors by Michael Atelier, letters by Jimmy Betancourt, and also Tyler Smith. I guess they have 2 letters on this for some reason. And the cover will be by Jake Bartok. There'll be no other covers besides the main cover for this one. And now we move on to Keen Spot. Keen Spot has 3 number 1s out here, and they're different enough to give even the most jaded comic book fan, Whiplash. Let's start by the most odious one first. It's going to be Absolute Trump Titans #1. GameSpot did a series called Trump's Titans back during his first administration. So this series is going to be kind of like to that series what Absolute Batman is to the main Batman series. It's kind of a new, updated kind of stuff going on. If you guess, like, I'm not really a big fan of these books, and it's not just because like I'm anti-Trump. Any kind of time, any kind of company does these kind of like political stuff, it's usually lame humor, like cheap, like artwork that's barely professional, and storylines that barely make sense, barely hold together. I remember I got, because I'm interested in the zombies, Presidential Evil, and I didn't even complete it. I only got 3 of the 4 issues, or 2 or 3 issues. I don't know how many issues it was, but it was kind of like basically like kind of like a week series um, of storylines just to get all the various political figures involved in it, and less concerned with the actually having a story that makes any sense. This is probably going to be the same way. But if this is your if you like it, if you, I don't know if it's going to be a parody of Trump or a jingoistic support of Trump. You probably might want to flip through that at your local comic store before you actually commit to actually buying it. But if this is up your alley and you go, more power to you. Collect what you want to collect, and keep on collecting. Um, it looks like it might be an ongoing. I couldn't really check on see it. Like, it didn't really online see any place where exactly it's going to be. It could only be a one shot. I don't know. Um, it'll cost $5.99 for, looks like 24 pages, which seems to be right in line with the Trump way of doing business. Um, it'd be written by John Barron, who, I don't know, might be a pseudonym for somebody, because that was one of the pseudonyms that Trump used to plant stories in, I think, newspapers. I think that's like what he used. He's supposed to be his publicist, and he was the guy who kind of like he talked to people to try to get their things, and it's favorable stuff for him in the newspapers. Um, art will be by Sean Remulak. There will be 8 other covers. Yes, 8 other covers. 6 of them will be drawn by Sean Remulak. Different versions of different political figures on the cover. It's not all the same cover 8 different times, 6 different times, but it's pretty damn close. Then there'll also be a Sean Remulak flip hologram foil version, which I believe takes the B cover with the A cover and puts one on one side and puts the other one on the other side. And there's also going to be a blank sketch comic, so you could go up to your favorite liberal comic book creator and dare them to make a respectful picture of Trump for your book. And please film it and send it to me when that happens. Next up is a more serious series from them called The Chamberlains. It is $5.99 for 32 pages, and it'll be a 3-issue miniseries. Writing will be by Ruben Romero, art by Alexandre Santana and Sergio Melagrito. The cover will be by Rob Pryor. It will have 7 open order covers. 4 of them will be alternate covers by Todd Skull. Different variations on the concept. They're not going to be the same cover 4 times. But there'll also be a Rob Pryor flip hologram foil. I guess it's kind of like the one with the Trump book, where it takes one of the alternate covers and uses it as a flip book. You can flip one covers on one side, one covers on the other side. Then there'll be a cover G, which is a Todd Skull Metal Virgin. Looks like it's going to be his cover D version, which is going to cover D variant, which is going to get a virgin treatment. And it will also have a cover H, which is going to be a blank cover. There'll be one incentive cover, a 1 in 20 Rob Pryor flipped virgin. The storyline about this is going to be about a group of vampires inflicting the Harlem underworld. Um, should be a pretty interesting concept. Depends on the execution, but if you like vampires and you like, um, you know, crime dramas, this might be a perfect match for you. And the third one is going to be a flat out kids book. It's called the Glopple. Number one, it'd be $5.99 for 37 pages, and it's going to be a 3-issue miniseries written by Matt Cole, with art by Jose Chirinos, and he will also be doing the cover. We have 2 open order covers, one by Chris Matt Chambers, I'm sorry. Cover C is going to be a Matt Chambers black and white. One incentive will be a 1 in 10 by Jeremy O'Ryan. This was originally started on Kickstarter. I think might have been at other publishers before it came to Keen Spot. So you might have heard it before. You might actually have it before. So be on the lookout. If it sounds familiar to you, it probably is. Maybe flip through it before you pick it up. Moving on to Boom. Boom has one new series. It's going to be the Graveyard Club. Fresh Blood, number 1. Oof. It's going to cost you $9.99. I believe it's going to be like kind of like a mini like trade paperback graphic novel kind of thing, because it has 96 pages, and it's also a one shot. It's written by noted young person horror author R.L. Stine, he of the Goosebumps fame. So it's a continuation of one of another books he made for Boom earlier. Art will be by Carola Borelli, and the cover will be by Miguel Mercado. There'll be 3 open order variants. Cover B by Dan Mora, cover C by Miguel Mercado, black and white anniversary. No, it's not going to be black and white. It's going to be an anniversary version. Cover H by Tula Lote. There'll be 5 incentive covers. Cover D, a 1 in 5 Dan Mora Virgin. Cover E, 1 in 10 Tula Lote Virgin. Cover F, 1 in 20 Miguel Mercado Anniversary Virgin. Cover G, a 1 in 25 Zoo cover. And cover I, 1 per store Miguel Mercado Virgin. Next on, we're going on to Dynamite, which once again is presenting giant size wacky racers one shot for publisher education this week. This is the 3rd, and as if you have been following along week by week, but it's the final time this is going to be appearing in this function. Like I said, this might be bitter, this might be petty, but I don't have time to promote your book for 4 weeks and it's not coming out. It's 3 strikes and you're out, and this is their 3rd strike. It is going to cost you $9.99, and it'll be for 40 pages. Be written by Ivan Cohen, art by Mariano Benitez Chapo, colors by Nick Capone, letters by Jeff Eckleberry, and the cover be by Joseph Michael Linzer. Being a variant book, it has 11 variant covers, 6 open order, 5 incentive. The open order covers are: cover A is done by Edwin Gallman. Cover C will be done by Robert Hack. Cover D will be a blank white authentics cover. Cover E will be the listener cover in a metal version. Cover F will be the listener cover in just a plain out virgin cover. Cover K will be a yellow blank authentics cover. Same thing as cover D, only yellow cover. There'll be 5 incentive covers. 1 in 10 from that is a listener black and white cover. 1 in 15 will be a version of the Robert Hack cover. 1 in 20, which will be a black and white version of the Lisner cover, but Virgin. The 125 will be a version of the Edwin Gallman cover, and 1 in 7 Linsner Redline cover, which is basically a sketch cover, only with red lines instead of black or blue or whatever. Next, moving into I2W, and good news for you Godzilla fans out there. If you like Godzilla, well, the comic book publishers decided to give you more Godzillas than you could possibly handle. IDW is coming out with their own Godzilla series. It's actually going to be a one-shot. Godzilla versus America, Los Angeles, #1. This is a follow-up to their most recent Godzilla versus America, which took place in Chicago. The basic concept behind this is creators from the towns that they live in this case Los Angeles, will come together and make stories featuring Godzilla laying waste to their towns. I think that's a fairly interesting kind of concept there. If you're a fan of Godzilla, you probably would dig that. It's going to be $7.99 for 48 pages. It'll be written by Dave Baker, with art by Gabriel Hardman and Jay Gonzo. The cover will be by Hardman. We'll have one open order variant, a cover B by Jay Gonzo. And I have 3 incentive versions. A 1 in 25 of Hardman's cover, but in black and white, and a 150 by a Dave Baker version. There will be 2 retailer exclusives. Both of them will be done for Wits Not Comics. Both will be drawn by Victor Irizarry, and it'll be one with trade dressing and one virgin. Fans of My Little Pony will have another, looks like, one-shot to draw from this week, this coming week. It will be My Little Pony Tournament of Mysteries, #1. Cost you $5.99 for 40 pages. Be written by Stephanie Williams, a pretty good writer, so probably might argue better than My Little Pony deserves, but that's up to you. Your mileage may vary. Art by Asia Simone, and the cover will be by Shauna Grant. There will be one other cover, cover B, by Sophie Scruggs. Next, we are going on to Antarctic Press. We have a new issue called Tiffany and Charlotte on Another World, #1. This looks like it's going to be a 4-issue miniseries. The first issue, at least, will cost you $4.99, and it'll be for 32 pages. It'll be written and drawn by Fred Perry, and there'll be no variant attached to this. Moving on to a publisher called Scratch Comics, and they have a new series called Fully Loaded, #1. It'll be $3.99 for 32 pages, and appears to be an ongoing. Like I said, I couldn't really find a length on the internet about this. Very hard to find anything about this series on the internet, so I can't be sure, and don't hold me to that. Sorry about that. It will be written and drawn by Jimmy Broxton, and Broxton will also be the cover for it. There will be no variants for it. And once again, like not doing the image for it, it already had its 3 strikes, so it's out. Will be We Only Go Out When It Gets Dark by Sumerian, which once again they promise is coming out this week, and that will make over a month of promises that they couldn't keep. Now let's go back on to final issues. The title that's ending this week for Image is Death of Copra, with #5. It will cost you $3.99 for 32 pages. All the work done inside the comic book that goes from writing to lettering will be done by Michael Fife. It has one open order variant, cover B by Fife, and 3 incentive covers. 1 in 15, cover C, by Michael Fife. It was a connecting cover, I guess, throughout the whole series. Cover D, a 1 in 20, by Ben Banserti, and a 125 by Michael Five, which I believe is another version of like one of the covers. Sorry about that. Um, Marvel has several series ending. One will be Nyx. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, NYX, with number 10. This appears to be one of their legendary shallow cancellations. Um, Marvel is notorious for canceling series with no out letting anybody know that the series is being canceled. Um, this is going to be there's like nothing solicited after this, and it looks like it goes on. Miss Marvel goes on to a series of one shots, giant size issues, where she travels back through the past and um, sticks her nose into various legendary X-Men storylines. So if you like this series, I read like the first issue, and it wasn't bad, but it just seemed to be a little bit off by the characters and how they're presented and how they're portrayed. Uh, Especially X-23, she seemed like to be a little bit off-brand, uh, and she wasn't the only one, but so that kind of put me off there. So I didn't really go back to read it religiously since it came out, and I'm sure probably a lot of people didn't do that because if it really resonated with people, it wouldn't be ending right now. Um, the issue would be written by Jackson Lanning and Colin Kelly. The art would be by Francesco Martorino, and the cover would be by Sarah Pichelli. There will be 2 other covers to go along with this because even though it's being canceled, you still want to get that extra variant money in. One will be a Frederica Martaran, and there will also be Frederica Marison and a Federico Martaran wraparound cover. Next up is Hellhunters number 5. This is a supernatural super team of Wolverine and Ghost Rider and Bucky back in World War II. It's coming. This is it's a natural. It's a 5-issue miniseries. It'll cost you $3.99 for 32 pages. It's written by Philip Kennedy Johnson. Artwork by Adam Gorham, and the cover will be by Jonas Scharf, who did the artwork, and Alex Gutierrez, which will do the colors. There is one variant which will be done by Mark Aspinall. And finally, for Marvel, for their final issues, TVA number 5. It'll cost you $3.99 for 32 pages. It's written by Catherine Blair, artwork by Perry Perez. Perez will also doing the cover with colors by Guru EFX. There'll be one variant cover for it, drawn by Ricky Yagawa. Moving on to DC and their one final issue. It would be Question All Along the Watchtower, number 6. $3.99 for 32 pages. It'll be written by Alex Segura, with art by Cian Torme, and colors by Romulo Fajardo Jr. The cover will be by Torme and Fajardo Jr. I also got this when it came out because I really liked the Question issue. I had a problem with it because it's kind of like you have, and it's not just like this one or even the writing was very good. The whole concept behind the whole thing in general it doesn't really sit well for me. Like, okay, you have a super team made up of every single superhero in the DC universe, practically. Um, Detectives, mentalists, everything like that. And you have stuff like murder mysteries happening while it's going on. Doesn't make sense. It shouldn't happen because with all that manpower and brain power, you shouldn't have anything like this. Same thing with the Justice League Unlimited series, where they have like the Legion of Doom taking over and trying to destroy it from within. It just doesn't seem like it doesn't seem believable to me that they would get this far with that. Or if they did, what was the point of doing the whole thing altogether? But I digress. You might have a different opinion on that. There will be 3 other covers. Cover B will be by Jorge Fornes. Cover C will be by Dennis Cohen. And cover D will be by A.I. Kaplan. Keen Spot is closing out a series once. Another one of their kid comic books. Squish and Squash. It'll cost you $5.99. Be written by Neil O'Rourke, with art by Mike Hartigan, and Hartigan will also do the cover. There'll be 2 other covers. Cover B by Dean Haspiel, and cover C by Mick Cassidy. Moving on to IDW. We're going to have a final issue of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the last one and 2, Re-Evolution. But it's number 5. It'll cost you $8.99 because it's an oversized book, kind of like the Destroyers or the original black black label books from DC. And it'll be for 52 pages. It'll be written by Tom Walsh and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle creators Kevin Eastman. It will feel art by Ben Bishop, Esau Escorza, and Isaac Escorza. And the cover will be by Evan and Isaac Escorza. They'll have 2 open order variant covers. Cover B by Kevin Eastman. Cover C by Ben Bishop. There are 4 incentive covers. 1 in 25 by Freddie E. Williams II. A 1 in 50 by Mateus Santorloco. 1 in 75 by Esau and Isaac Escorza, black and white cover. That might be a variation on one of their other covers. And a 1 in 100 Kevin Eastman black and white cover, which didn't have an image on the League of Comic Geeks site, but it might be a black and white version of his open order variant. Next up, Dark Horse, which their series The Goon, Them That Don't Stay Dead number 4 is coming to an end. It'll cost you $4.99 for 32 pages. It is fairly good series. I like The Goon. It's kind of like a part taste. If you like The Goon, you love The Goon. If you don't, you probably couldn't bear with it. What hampered this a little bit is like the delays. That it took a long time to get this book to be finished, although not quite as long as some publishers, which we'll go on in a little bit. Writing, art, and cover will be done by Eric Powell, who's the creative mastermind behind The Goon. $4.99 and 32 pages. I don't know if I mentioned that, but let me mention it again. We'll have 1 other cover. It'll be done by Lee Bermejo. Antarctic Press is going to have a 3 series that appeared to be ending. I haven't really noticed Antarctic being on the League of Comic Geeks website before this, but apparently they're all coming here. So, but these might be like just not have been solicited, or there's like a break in solicitation. They might be going on, but for all intents and purposes, I'm going to treat them as ending. First one up, Critter, with number 8. It will cost you $4.99. It'll be written by Tom Hutchinson, art by Fico Osio, and Osio will also do the cover for it. Next up is a book called Kaiju Cooking. It'll cost you $4.99. It didn't really give an artist or writer or anything on that, at least when I looked at it. Maybe it's up there now. It just wasn't up there when I looked at it. But the next one is Planet Comics number 34, which will cost you $4.99. It's written by Jonathan Chance, with art by Raphael Van Hellas, colors by Alzer Alves, letters by D.C. Hopkins, and the cover will be by Damien L. Filete. That concludes our concluding series. Now let's move on to issues a brief scan of issues that I think are issues of note.
This looks interesting.
We are going to stay with Antarctic right now, and because the League of Comic Geek website is saying that Ninja High School number 200 will be coming out on the 30th. It'll cost you $4.99. It will be written by Alfredo Perez and Ben Dunn, and Ben Dunn will do the art for these series and also the cover, as he's done for a lot of them. This is a remarkable number to hit for any series, for any corporation. Um, especially in this days of reboots and cancellations and new volumes and all kinds of stuff like this, or even just like not really reaching an audience and not being popular to make 3 or 5 issues long in 200. This is like kind of like a little bit of homegrown manga, in case you're not familiar with it, and has been around for quite some time. Um, and congratulations on hitting 200 issues, well deserved. Um, here's 200 more for you guys. Not, I haven't read the series, but I do appreciate it being around and providing alternative for people who might not want the typical American comic book style of comic books, but still not ready to go over to full manga from Japan. Next issue of note is Snot Girl number 20. This is Brian Lee O'Malley's follow-up to Scott Pilgrim. It'll cost you $3.99 for 40 pages, and it appears to be an ongoing series. He writes O'Malley writes the series, but artwork is in the hands of Leslie Hung, with colors by Rachel Cohen. And Leslie will be doing the covers for it as well. There will be one other cover where Brian Lee O'Malley does the alternate cover for him by himself. This is a last book that is coming up before it goes on to a slight hiatus before starting its new storyline. I don't know if it's been going on continuously, but having an issue 20 seems like kind of a low number for something that's been around as long as I believe it has been. So it might have been a case of like there's been a lot of unplanned hiatuses in between that they kind of drew it out a little bit. But speaking of unplanned hiatuses, let's go into this one, which is listed on the League of Comic Geek's new release site for coming out on the 30th, but it falls firmly into the believe it when I see it category. It's 2 issues from AFTERSHOCK. Those who are not familiar with AFTERSHOCK, they were like a really, I thought they were like a really good publisher from the last couple of years, putting a lot of good stuff, a lot of interesting, um, groundbreaking, pushing the boundaries, inventive kind of comic book stuff. But they got into financial trouble and into bankruptcy. For like the last couple of years, all they've had in the previews are the trade paperback collections of, say, Deep Red and Rough Riders and Dead Days and all those ones. Great series, all really great reads. I've read them and I've enjoyed them quite a bit. But when they hit the financial trouble, they left a whole bunch of series just kind of hanging there, with only 1 or 2 issues coming out of a 4 or 5 issue miniseries. These coming out now give us hope to maybe these will be completed or finished. But like I said, it's kind of hard to pull yourself out of that hole, and I didn't really see them being like offered again in previews. I might have missed it because that would be a good way to actually let people know, hey, it's coming down. Because both these issues had at least a year, if not more, between their last issue being published. The first one I'm going to start off with is going to be Maniac of New York. Don't Call it a Comeback. That's going to be number 3. It'll cost you $4.99, and it will be for 32 pages, and it'll be number 3 of a 4-issue miniseries. It's written by Elliot Kahan, with art by Andrea Muti, and Muti will be doing the covers for it. There's no variants for it. But this is one of my favorite Aftershock books. To do a quick elevator pitch for you, and I hope you could appreciate it. It is, what if Friday the 13th married Law and Order? At least that's what the first couple series were. as police in New York City try to track down a hockey mask reading serial killer. Um, and as fans of both properties, and you didn't think it would mesh well, it meshed very well. It was very well done, and I really, really, really did like it. And I recommend going through their trade paperbacks um, and buying them. And I'm very happy that this series, which is the third installment in the whole um, Maniac of New York series, is hopefully, fingers crossed, going to be finished. But one book that is finished, and I really should have put it back with the final issue ones, but I wanted to cover the Aftershock um, comics together. It is my site, my rules. I apologize if this throws you off, if you're a stickler for that, but please accept my apology. Um, but the series that's coming out is Jimmy's Little Bastards. Um, uh, this is the third issue. It is what cost you looks like $9.99 for 48 pages, and it is the last issue of the three-issue miniseries. It's written by Garth Ennis. Yes, that Garth Ennis. With art by Russell Braun. Yes, that Russell Braun. High quality creators. The creators they had for Aftershock was not the problem, and not the lack of a good creator team profile was not the reason why they hit bankruptcy. I don't know why. I haven't really had any conversations with any of them. A lot of people I know who work there don't work there anymore. Um, I don't know if the new people are just as good as the last one and getting quality talent in. We shall see if this pulls them out of their bankruptcy troubles and they could go forward as a comic book company. Um, but yeah, they had really good artists and writers on this. Of course, giving Garth Ennis the opportunity to write um, a snarky take on the James Bond franchise, I think you don't have to really twist his arm that much to actually get him to do that. Which is this one. This is the second series, the sequel to Jimmy's Bastard series from a couple years before this, where all of the illegitimate children of the lead character, whose name is Jimmy, I don't know what his last name is. It's probably not Bond, but I don't think they'd be brazen enough to do that. All gathered together to try to kill their absentee deadbeat dad. Um, tongue-in-cheek humor, the tongue-in-cheek humor, just as you expect from Garth Ennis. Garth Ennis is one of my favorite writers, and when he cooks, he really cooks. And I'm glad to have this finally finished and taken care of, and I can put it on my shelf and read it all in one sitting without actually having. This has been a long wait for this. The issue number 2 of this came out, actually hit the store shelves on January 18th of 2023. Yes, over 2 years ago. Uh, so not like yeah. So people have been waiting for this one for a long time, me included. Um, and hopefully this solicitation is actually correct. It'll be arriving on Wednesday, and we don't have to wait that much longer. Now on to the facsimiles. We have two ones from two companies. Marvel doesn't have one this week, apparently. I guess not. I guess they're taking the week off because of the whole um, pending Free Comic Book Day um, extravaganza. But DC has one. They're doing a facsimile for More Fun Comics number 73. Now, some of you might be saying, that's an odd number. Usually, facsimiles are like the first issues or first appearances or something like this. Or what's so special about More Fun Comics number 73? A lot of people might not be aware of that title at all, let alone what happened in it. But, ladies and gentlemen, this issue was where Aquaman and Green Arrow made their first appearance. Both of them. Both of them in the same actual book. Maybe because I'm a fan of both characters, I consider this to be one of the more pivotal and legendary books in comic book history. It's my very if you hated the Arrow TV show or didn't like the Jason Momoa Aquaman movies or whatever, but hopefully, even if you don't like the characters, you could at least recognize and appreciate their stake in comic book history. These two made their first appearance here in this book, but were continuously one of the few people, comic book superheroes, that are continuously published all the way through the dark era of the Atomic Age, along with Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. When all the other comic book heroes went by the wayside, these guys had backup stories in like their various and sundry uh, comic book titles. I think Adventures was Aquaman was in Adventures, and uh, Green Arrow was um, maybe in Sensation or something like that. Um, but yeah, so this is a big issue to have a facsimile for, um, and hopefully they have it all complete and have not just like those stories in there. There's also a Doctor Fate story and a whole bunch of other characters in there. So hopefully this would be a nice one to maybe pick up. I might actually consider picking up um, just to read from a historical aspect to put myself in the mind of a little kid from the 40s having my mind blown by these two characters, not realizing that they went on for decades and decades of history in the comic book world. It will have two variants. It'll have a main cover, which is the main cover. It'll also have a foil version, and it'll have a blank variant, which will still have the trade dress, which is kind of funny because the trade dress for these Golden Age comic books, most of the logo took up like half the page. So the blank variant is red and has like a half a page of red if I get a sketch in it. Most sketch covers have all white, and it's a lot of room for the artist to work in. I would be interested to see some of the sketch covers that come out of this experiment, see how well they do with that. And the price for this will cost you, depending on whether you get the foil. The foil is a little more expensive, and the sketch is a little more expensive. It will cost you anywhere from $5.99 to $8.99. The next facsimile comes from Valiant. Yes, Valiant. Valiant apparently is getting into the facsimile market, or maybe they have already been in, and I just haven't been paying attention. I didn't really pay attention to facsimiles until I started doing this video segment. Um, but they're coming out with a facsimile for Exo Man of War #1. This is a pretty good one because that's one of the most, like I said, for Valiant, I've said in other videos, Valiant comic books are kind of like cheap and easy to get for most of them. But every series has one or two that, like, most of them you get for 50-cent bins or dollar bins, but every series seems to have one or two that are like anywhere from $20 to $200. And this is one of the ones that are like 20 or above category. So this might be good for a lot of people who are trying to complete their Exo Man of War series because they love reading the Valiant comic books. There might be one or two people in the comic book community doing that. For them to pick up this to read the complete story without having to shell out all the money for the #1 issue. And that's the only variant is going to be. There's no variants coming out with this. There's no foil, no sketch, no nothing. It's just going to be the reprint of the first issue. So that's it for this week. Anything catch your fancy? Anything that you think I should have included that is coming out on the 30th? Anything that did not come out on the 30th, if you want to put that in there. Like I said, was accurate at the time of recording, according to the League of Comic Geek website, which is an incredible service. I'm not denying them, but sometimes things change and people drop stuff off, and when one media outlet reports something coming out and the other one doesn't, and you don't know who to trust. So please take these with a grain of salt. But if they do not come out this week, like I said, the Sumerian one and the Wacky Races both are have been over 3 weeks or more on this segment and have not come out yet. You can always ask it for your local comic shop to put one aside when it actually does come out, just to keep an eye out and warn them about that. But yeah, so take it with a grain of salt. But which one did not come out? If you want to put that in the comments. Are you as excited as I am that Aftershock might be actually coming back? Or do you think they should just deserve to die a slow, lingering death because, of the way they ran their finances? Are you excited about any of the Ninja High School anniversary issue? Do you agree with my choice of the for my choice of the big book of the week? Or what would you have chosen? Anything you want to comment on this video, put it in the comments. I will try to answer it and the best I can. But until then, I will be back next week with another installment of this series, and maybe a little bit before that with a special extra bonus about the new the free comic book day versions. So cross your fingers. And while you're doing that, while you're crossing your fingers, keep on collecting.